Friends, so today we are back with the second chapter, which is basic concepts of macroeconomics. Today we are going to learn about the different types of goods produced in an economy. How many kinds of goods are being produced? There are n number of goods. So we are going to learn about all those goods. Basically there are four types of goods. The goods have been categorized under four categories: final goods, intermediate goods, consumer goods, and capital goods. Okay. So students, what are final goods? Final goods are those goods which have completed, they have crossed the boundary line of production. They have completed the process of production. They have crossed, they have completed the process of production and are ready to be used by their final users and the consumers. Those who want to use those goods are ready. Those goods are ready to be used by their consumers. Those goods are known as final goods. Now, those consumers, those people who could be their final users are the consumers and producers. Both are their final users. So, with this line, we can conclude that final goods can be classified as two parts. It has two parts. First is final consumer goods and second one is final producer goods. If a producer is buying a final good, then it would be used in a different way. But if a consumer is buying that final good, then it will be used in a very different way from the producer. So, final goods are being classified into two. The first one is final consumer goods. Now, what does that mean? They are finally purchased by the consumers. For what? For the satisfaction of the wants. For the satisfaction of their wants. That's it. They are finally purchased by the consumer for the satisfaction of the wants. That's it. And the expenditure which is done by the consumers is known as consumption expenditure. The expenditure on the purchases by the consumers, by the households, by us is known as consumption expenditure. As simple as that. This is a very easy topic of your chapter. For example, bread, butter used by the households. We buy the bread and butter and we utilize it, we consume it straight away. Then this is known as final consumer goods. Now remember, if the question is being asked in the question paper, give the examples of final consumer goods, then you have to use the full sentence. Bread and butter used by the household. Most of you, what they do, they just write bread and butter. That's it. No, you have to write the full sentence. Used by whom? Used by the households. You have to complete the sentence. Now, the second classification, which is final producer goods. They are finally purchased by whom? By the producers. Here the goods were purchased by the consumers, but here they are purchased by the producers and are mostly used as fixed assets. You all must be knowing, the students of commerce must be knowing what are fixed assets. Fixed assets are those assets which are used for the process of production. Used as fixed asset in the process of production. That's it. They are finally purchased by the producers and are mostly used as fixed assets in the process of production. Is that clear? Now, the expenditure made by the consumer was known as consumption expenditure. But the expenditure by the producers is known as investment, or you can say investment expenditure. What is investment? Investment means buying or purchasing of the fixed assets. So, what final producer goods are? They are finally purchased by the producers and are mostly used as fixed assets in the process of production. The expenditure by the producers is also known as investment expenditure. Now, one more important thing. Only final goods, only these goods are used in the estimation of national income. Only used in the estimation of national income or national product. The other goods, they are not being used in the estimation of national income. Only final goods are included in the estimation of national income. Okay, one more thing I forgot to mention. What are the examples of final goods? All those fixed assets. What are fixed assets? Machinery, plant. Fine. These are the examples for the final producer goods. The second type of good is your intermediate goods. Now, what are intermediate goods? The goods which have not crossed, this time they have not crossed or completed the boundary line of production. Keyword, they have not crossed or completed the boundary line of production, and some value is yet to be added, means some more value is to be added to that good, and are not ready for use by their final users. They are not being ready for the usage of their final users. Those goods are known as intermediates. Now, if you have not understood from this definition, we can use this one. The goods which are used as raw material and are purchased by the firms. This is not purchased by the households. This is purchased by the firms. For what? For resale, and are intermediate goods. Fine. Those goods which are used as raw material or are purchased by the firms for resale are intermediate goods. For example, we can say that sugar used by the firms for manufacturing biscuits, or by a baker. He needs sugar and he will use that sugar for making something different. He will use that sugar as a raw material for that production. So we can say the goods which are used as raw material or are purchased by the firm for the resale, that good will be again sold to the consumers. Now, the expenditure which is done on the intermediate goods by the producers, by the firms, is known as intermediate consumption. Is that clear? Intermediate consumptions are not noted down in the national product or national income. Only final good, the good number 1 which we have studied earlier, will be used in the estimation of national income, not the intermediate goods. Intermediate goods are never used in the estimation of national income. Now, there is one question which usually comes in your exams, that can a good can be both? Means, suppose there is a good, can it be a final good as well as intermediate goods? Yes, it can be. Same good may be intermediate or final. They can be both. The main distinctions, the main reason, the main distinction depends on the end use. We can only tell whether a good is intermediate or not, or a final good. We can definitely tell it by the end use, how the final consumer has utilized it. For example, I already discussed one example. Sugar used as raw material in the production of biscuit is definitely an intermediate good. You all know that. But the sugar, the same sugar used by the households, household means us, the consumers, in making milk, tea or coffee, then it will be a final good. I guess this is very much clear to all of you. So that's all for this video.